pull your power. It will also bleed it. What I mean by that is power cycle. Until you see that completely stop, now you can mess with the electronics.
Got it. Makes sense.
So you've got your two in the front.
That one in the back, and they didn't
That's
put one in.
wrong one.
We're not taking the plate off?
We're not taking the plate off.
Oh, we're just taking the, oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, my bad.
No plate, just the printhead.
And so we're only gonna just take the print head off and then put it back on.
Put it back on.
And we're not gonna mess with, then we're just gonna double check our alignments.
Correct.
I see.
Because they'll probably move on you a little bit. Front two, and then the one in the back.
This is cool. This Allen thing has a guard on it so you don't shock something, or what?
Correct. Yeah. T-handle is always nice to have.
Yeah, I need to get some of these.
Not easy to find, especially the long-handled ones. If you need more light.
That's cool that they didn't put one in the back, because that would be hard to get to. Oh, this has got like some kind of weird thing on it. Look at that back one's got.
Yeah, so the other part that I didn't mention to you. So you've got that off. That's cool. That's easy. Try to make sure you prep before you start. So I'm sure you're used to it already, but just make sure you've got your rags out in case you get a leak someplace. If you need them, if you're worried about print head, you know, it's okay to throw them in like that when you need to. Where you're gonna place tools. So if you're gonna use this style, you can use this style and then maybe just have them ready for you. On the side there. If you need the extra light, I don't know where my flashlight went.
What's up with this magenta incline full of air?
I pulled it off before you guys came in.
Oh, okay. So now at this point, what's the best way to pull the print head out of there? Do you disconnect the inclines first, or you just pull the whole thing out and then disconnect?
I do inclines first.
Okay.
So I would do the inclines first and then the print head. So before we jump into that, I just want to give another, yeah, there we go, some more light. So we can do it this way, or let's oh, you did have the one on the side already.
Got too many selections.
Correct. So something like that, just to help kind of shine in there.
And that just pops off?
So the
what's
cool
your best
thing
way
about
to do
this
that?
is I always have one in my hand. So if I wasn't using these, I'd have some type of cloth, maybe a bag, but typically in the past it's always been a cloth. So these just push on, but you turn them just slightly, kind of squaring them up.
Yeah.
And then you pull up and then place that in there so that the ink doesn't come flying back at you.
Perfect. That's
And
cool.
you go to your next, again, slight twist, and then lift.
Seems like it's flowing back because gravity is pushing it back into
That's
the
probably because we
socket.
don't have
That's what
the-
it looks like
yeah.
on this machine.
So what would you do? Would you clamp it over there?
No,
If you were doing
just
it?
remove it and just put a bit of cloth, but it seems like it's going back, so it shouldn't leak.
Yeah,
But just in case, that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
we use those things there.
I always
then-
put the towel around it anyway.
Yep. Again, sorry, I did things without gloves. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Twist,
Gloves are here. Different sizes as well.
twist a little bit.
You just slightly twist and then pull up.
Oh, there it goes.
It's like a quarter turn.
Yeah, I see it. It's the same thing like all the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way that
Yeah,
they just
it's
got the
exactly.
damper in there sideways. I guess if you put that on there, it'll stop it from backfeeding, too.
No, it's just to make sure that nothing leaks out of it, essentially. That's the simple part right there.
Got it. It just went back. It didn't go back that far. All right. So now this thing's ready to come up.
You should be able to pull the thing right up now.
Feels like the damper cover's trying to come off. Oh,
Seems like there's still the fourth screw in the back.
I thought there was only.
There's only supposed to be 3 here.
Well, there's 3. Is there only 3 on the plate and 4 on the head? I just assumed there was 3, but maybe there's a. I thought you said there was only
2, 3. There's one that should be just the plate. That pops up.
Oh, I know what's wrong. I did take it out right, dude. Hang on. I took those 2, and then I took out the one from the plate. I didn't take the one from the head. Isn't there one in the head back there?
No, that should be the lockdown for the head.
Oh, that little gray
Yep.
thing is what holds that down.
Correct.
Ah, okay.
What is that screw?
Is there one back there?
There is, but it's supposed to be just for the plate, and since we're not taking the plate out, we technically should not have had to take that out either.
I think it's a screw in there that's holding the back of the printhead down. I saw it. Is that on the plate or the head, the one that's in the back left?
It should be the plate.
There it goes.
No, this is just the cover for the dampers. So, again, not a big deal if we pull that off, but that's just plate.
Snaps on, yeah.
Push it together, it pops off.
I felt like it was gonna come
So,
off.
no, that's
That back one's in the.
the back one's on the plate. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You know what? No, it isn't.
Do you want to hold the light for him?
Oh, it's fine. I got it. Thank you.
So there's 4 screws,
So there is 4 screws,
even though the manual
even though the
said
manual says that
3.
there isn't.
The manual's not always right. There'll be another revision.
You are probably right when it comes to that. I should technically just have to push and pull.
Maybe we should take the plate off. Ah.
Gotta be gentle with it.
You can be a little rough, so the good thing is that you can see.
Oh wow, that's way different. Is that where all the nozzles are in those little
Yes.
2 little things? Wow.
So,
That's that looks more tougher than the other one. Like the nozzles are up
Sure.
inside that metal, like they're up inside there, so there's a little bit of a.
a little bit. Definitely wouldn't rub it with your fingers on any of them.
Yeah.
Not a good thing. And then these,
Take the cables out.
You just
side
pull the
1 and
cables
side
out.
2.
correct. So these you should just
Pop right off.
pull straight out. Try not to do this.
Yeah.
And then with these, you can just push these back. In a lot of instances, I just push them back like this. Of course, now it's not going to work. Like that, or if you want to use tape, you can tape them up to the top here as well. So here, again, pull straight out.
Bingo.
Pulls
Those
it
are
out.
actually look easier to do than the fatter ones.
Yeah, I can see that. And then again, just pushing these things straight back.
And it's kind of cool they both come in the different sides like that instead of both all four on the same
You can
side.
see the dampers, exact same dampers as what you're used
Yeah,
to seeing.
yeah.
And these just pop in and off as well.
So when you're looking at a damper, what are you looking for to know if it's good or bad or whatever?
How would I explain that? Mixing sometimes. If you see them mixing,
Or it's
if
mixing
you
colors
see them
internally?
mixing colors internally. If you're seeing sometimes fullness, so I would like to see at least half.
Okay. What
You know,
determines that?
It can be a little less, but that's really about it when it comes to that.
So then if it's having a starvation problem or whatever when it's printing and you got no problem getting ink up to here, then there's obviously something going on there. And if it's not there, then it's in the printhead.
Yes.
Like I was saying yesterday, it might be that the filter on top is a little bit dirty and doesn't
Correct.
let enough ink going through it.
Yeah.
Correct.
And how do you determine that? You put a syringe on the bottom of the damper and pull on it and see what happens?
And I
or-
wouldn't do it at the damper. If you're gonna pull anything through, I would do it through the printhead.
Oh yeah? Why not from the damper? I'm just asking because I did it the other day on it and trying to figure out why this guy's black ink was plugged up. I was like, what the hell, man? I
But
stuck it in
also,
there and
okay,
pulled.
normally the way I would do it is, when was the last time we replaced the dampers? And normally the answer is never. So I would say, all right, that's the cheapest,
That's the cheapest.
repair and thing you can do. So go ahead, replace the dampers. If after you replace the dampers, you still have the issue, then we'll talk about it.
Correct.
Normally that's how it goes because I mean these
Yeah,
are so cheap that it's
I'm not usually testing dampers in that fashion because of that. Typically because they're what
Cheap
I would
enough.
call a consumable.
Got it. Okay. So
and you
just
should
keep-
replace them regularly anyway. So let's say every 6 months. So
Correct.
if you're already 2 years on those dampers, I mean, it's like doing an oil change. Do an oil change, then we'll look if you still have the same issue.
Correct. So as the head
Got it.
was kind of a pain in the ass to get out, as you can see, there's also some buildup that can happen on the sides here.
I think this is the reason why. Whatever that thing is kind of chingased up right there. It was like, I think that was catching on. It's got like teeth all over it.
Yeah, it's kind of holding into place. We're just supposed to push on it a little bit and pull it up. But as you can see, there's some ink buildup on the side, which means that someone in this room is not doing their maintenance the way they're supposed to be. I'm not going to name names of who that is.
Yeah.
But somebody needs to do a better job. But that's where you can see some of that buildup there. See it up here. Again, you've got the head, dampers. Pretty simple. You've got your
Head
voltage,
range.
head rank in the front here. One of the things that I do, I always take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Always. Because when you put it in, you want it to match, essentially. And since my eyesight isn't great,
Yeah.
taking that picture helps.
Yeah.
So
At least you can almost see it while it's in the frame.
Taking a picture of what?
Yeah.
Can you make sense of that?
the head rank right there.
There's values.
Those 3 values.
There's
those
values
3
on that sticker that you have
numbers.
to put into
So-
the machine.
If I'm not mistaken, on this head, there's actually 4 numbers or 4 sets of numbers, numbered letters combination, instead of 3 like in the past. So, yes.
So when you're done with that printhead, where do you, like, if you say you don't want to hold it anymore, what would you do with it? Lay it over on its
If
side?
I were gonna just like set it down for a second,
Yeah.
first off, I'm not gonna just go to any piece of cloth or table and lay it down like this.
Yeah.
I may do it this way, but with the dampers in it, I wouldn't, because it's gonna end up leaking.
Yeah.
If I was gonna do anything, it would be
One of those. Yeah.
with a lint-free rag, with some cleaning solution on it, like in this type of area. Spray it in there. Actually, we can do that right now. That's isopropyl. Where's my cleaning solution? Cool. The other thing to know about this cleaning solution, works for solvent and UV. So you're not technically supposed to drip it out like that either, obviously. obviously, because it can cause a mess. But if I were gonna do that,
You're a skilled technician.
it would be like that.
Okay.
Then I know I could lay it down.
Can this machine do like a nozzle wash, like a Mamaki, so soak the printhead?
You can soak them. It doesn't automatically put
It doesn't have a
clean
cleaning
solution in
cartridge.
it.
I was thinking this could be another solution
Yeah.
too. If you want to try to soften, if you have some clogged
Sure.
nozzles, dump it in somewhere, leave it there,
So-
and then put it back in.
So what I would tell you about that, Tony has a story on that. So he had a customer in Canada, and one weekend he was getting a call over and over again from Canada. He doesn't know anybody in Canada, so he didn't answer at first. So he starts listening to the messages as they're leaving, and it happened to be some type of magistrate up in Canada calling him because one of our dealers was being sued by a customer. Reason for it was they soaked their printhead on a Friday through the weekend.
Delaminated it.
This was the issue though. It was a dye sub printer. He used solvent
Oh.
cleaning liquid to soak the head.
It ruined it.
So come Monday, it completely ruined the printhead. The customer or the dealer was being sued for $30,000. And they wanted Tony as a reference on, I guess, on, you know, his opinion on things. He refused to give it because that's our policy, unless, you know, the president of the company tells us we can. So, moral of that story is simply, we really can't tell you to soak it for more than maybe 15 minutes at a time. As a tech in the past, I've soaked many of these Epson printheads 24 hours. None of them over a weekend, because I would be careful about that. But 24 hours is something that you can do from time to time. 2 hours is about max.
Can't you just manually fill the cap up over there
Yeah.
and then just park it on there?
Yeah.
That would be
you
like,
know, yeah.
Yes.
that would be like
Correct.
what the Milwaukee already does for you when you tell it to do that wash
Correct.
thing or whatever.
Correct.
So that would be better than taking the printhead out and all that shit. You just
Yeah, I mean, the only way that I would, so if I was gonna do this, would be if I've done the soaks aren't working, so I'm like, okay, I think the head is still good, but maybe it just has something in it.
like maybe that thing over there. You might
Correct.
soak that or try. And
So
I'm really curious how
I
that
would-
turns out for you.
I would pull it out, so like I did with this one, I pulled that head out. After soaking it, it didn't work. I set it on one of these, pulled the dampers, had my syringe, pulled out one of those ink lines, and I just put them over top of the nipples here,
Yeah.
and pushed clean solution through it.
Yep.
I want to see raindrops and not faucet or waterfall come out of each nozzle.
Raindrops. What do you mean?
You don't want to push too hard, you can break the membrane,
Yes.
so be gentle when you do it.
Yes.
Where's the membrane?
That's probably on the face of the printhead.
Yes.
You don't want to.
That's that membrane that it's talking about. You're supposed to get a raindrop effect where it looks like individual nozzles pouring out or coming out in like a rain. I call it raindrop.
You'll have
and
to
not
show
a
me
faucet.
this.
So when you,
I want to know because I mean, when they're fucked up, I mean, it's already bad.
well, it's really
you know, like I don't know. It's like it's already dead anyways. You know what I mean? But
Okay, clean syringe, clean tubing, clean solution, put it down on the nipple and just push.
yeah.
it's
But I mean,
basically
it shouldn't be
this, so-
spraying out though.
It sprays out.
So when you got your
Like, don't you want it to be spraying straight out? Like, doesn't that?
It
go-
will. That's what he's saying. It's like rain.
when you got your print head, you got your nozzles areas where it comes out.
Yeah.
You want to see
Straight.
raindrops like that, and not
Every direction and
that. Where
Yeah,
it's, I would call that a faucet or a waterfall, where it's just a gob of ink coming out and not a specific pattern. So again, we want to see. Sorry.
So you do that often? I mean,
Normally, you
wanna see
start
that.
doing these things when you tried everything else. Soak it doesn't work. Wiping the face of the head doesn't work. Because what if you try just to do it and you damage the head?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
You must replace it.
yeah. So you
It's just if it's
it,
your
no,
last
it's not
thing.
the first option for sure. It's
Yeah,
like,
you're there. You already have your new printed, ready to do it, and say, "Let me try first," and then
maybe
you're
it's-
able to get it.
Yeah, and with you, maybe it's based on who the customer is.
Yeah,
If it's a big customer of yours and you wanna keep a good relationship with them, then maybe you go that extra step, but if it's somebody that bought a printer from somebody else. you
well, that's
don't-
every
eBay,
client. Every
just
client
buy
that
it.
I have right now has a piece of shit, and I'm getting involved in like disasters.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
So it's how much effort do you wanna put into it?
yeah,
This I'm doing just because I wanna see if I can correct it,
yeah.
so.
But it's okay to flush it like that, but just not too hard.
Yeah, be gentle.
Yes, cause too hard, again, like you said, it'll break it, and once it breaks and you get nothing but faucet coming out of it,
That's it.
waterfall coming out of it, it's done.
What the hell does that mean?
Okay, he just explained it to you. Are you not listening?
You'll see the actual nozzle spray. You don't
Correct.
see just a bunch of cleaning solution coming down with no sense.
Got
If
it.
it makes sense.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I've seen that. I know what you're talking about. So just
So if you
drizzling
be gentle,
out.
you see it's like if it's firing from the hand.
Yeah.
So what's
that's
the
what you
next
look
step?
for.
Are we putting it back in?
We're gonna throw this thing back in,
All right, let's do it.
so.
The dampers can go either way, right? So we need to pay attention. We are putting the right colors in the right spots. Well, I guess you can still flip it. It's no big deal, but.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see if you're pulling it out.
Oh, that's a question
I
I
mean-
have. Let's say you're having problems, like say I'm having a trauma with my magenta and my yellow. Can I take that and flip it and put it the other way? And then all of a
You
sudden
can.
I start having
Yeah,
no
but
okay.
I don't know that I would do that, to be honest with you. You can do it. but-
Even swapping the completely out sometimes. If
Yeah.
you're really at the
Yeah.
point that said I need to figure it out, I even took without even removing the
Damper.
the tubings, just flip the colors. They are mixing, but at least you can see if it's, the other one starts
Correct.
working. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. I know
That's
exactly
the
what
only
you mean.
thing is.
I've
it's
I've
gonna
switched
show
them.
I mean, you could technically,
Like
yeah.
for
If you think
instance,
it's the
on that little tiny that machine over there, I was like, this white's jacked up, you know. So I put the cyan in the white channel and see if I get, or something like that, and it still didn't fire. But I wouldn't have been able to see the cyan firing on the top of the black most likely. But I have done that where it switched them around and stuff. But it'll clear out, right? After you do a couple cleans, it'll.
Yeah, unless it. Okay, so from my experience, if it starts mixing inside, what I would do is just drain it completely with a syringe and then refill it up with just that ink.
Yeah.
Then you do a cleaning, it should go away.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do it with white. I wouldn't mix white.
I
White's
wouldn't put-
thicker than the rest of the ink, so it'll have sediment built up. So unless you're gonna completely flush that damper and then do it, I
And
wouldn't.
still you have
It's
a
gonna
crack
leak.
inside the damper, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't even. Yeah.
With white, because remember, white's got titanium in it, so it's. a
It
lot
wants to
thicker.
plug that filter. So is
Absolutely.
the goal of it to plug the filter before it plugs the head, or what? Like,
What?
with the white ink, if you say there's particles and all that kind of stuff in there, does it plug up that damper before it plugs up the printhead, or?
In most instances, if it's gonna clog something, it's gonna be the damper first before you.
Because on that machine that I'm working on out there at Southwest, even his previous prints when the white was working was shitty. You know, like when it was new, it was good, but.
That's right. That's exactly what I would do. I would put the cables in first.
Yeah, you have to.
Um,
I don't think you'd be able to get that one in there.
Yeah.
that
this
one,
one I don't
that
think
side
you
would be
can.
tough. You're right.
But every time, I've always done it.
And then again, with these, you want to push them straight on
Yeah.
as best you can without the side motion. Not that the side to side motion will completely wreck it, but you're gonna tend to mess up the contact.
And don't do what I almost did to flip it because the ink will come out from the top.
The other thing that I would probably do too is I would just check the ends of the cables, make sure they don't have anything on them. And if they do, isopropyl alcohol, wipe them down, make sure they're nice and clean, make sure it's dry before you shove it in. And the printhead goes in one way, and that's with the head rank on the front right.
There's that little guard over
Yeah, for a second I thought about it, I said, oh, the other ink is in the front. Do you have a swab? There's an air in the back. Why is there?
See that little metal plate in there on the left? That's what it was hanging up on.
And that
when
was
he
I was
pulling.
about to ask him why.
I think it's a ground.
Why do you
or
have
something.
teeth on that plate on the left?
Just to hold it, to help hold it in place.
Oh, I see.
That's it. You want it wet?
A little bit.
There
Thank
you
you.
go, sir. So what Frankie's doing here is actually a good thing to do when you're cleaning these things. So when you're putting a printhead in and out,
Yeah.
try and clean that area.
For sure.
Especially the older the printer is, the more
tweezers?
buildup you'll see.
Well, normally, I've
it
never
just a
seen
lot of
air. Well, there is air. I'm trying to remove. There is a fiber there. I think I pushed it down, but I think it's because of the amount of ink was there. Did I get it?
It could have been, yeah.
I still see it. There is this air is stuck there.
Slide to the carriage to the left a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's right. Do you have tweezers or
Can
something?
you flip that over that way? There it is, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I see it. I just can't remove it.
Got it.
And especially old machines, they get gunk
Oh,
all of
yeah.
it because of this. So you want to clean it a bit. It just makes
The
it
little
easy.
needle nose work for you.
that
That'll
should be
work.
fine. There we go.
That'll
So
cause a
this is
problem.
not good. Oh yeah. If it goes on the head, that can cause a problem.
For
So
sure.
you need to make sure there are no fibers laying around. Okay. This is always going to be a little bit of ink anyway, but let's see how this one goes in.
Now, if you want to take the dampers out and set them to the side, you can at this point, if it helps.
Oh, okay. So it's easier if you go down on the
Correct.
left side and then down. And you don't want to do it on the cab because the cab would push up.
Yeah. I usually do them here. I mean, if you want, you can do it on this side.
Pull that
The
plate out.
plates, you're gonna want to probably pull that plate out, but I usually just do them over the top here.
That might be better.
Where are the other
Looking for the other
screws?
screws. There you go.
Thank you. Who's calling?
I noticed you had some dampers over there with the rubber sealed out of it. Did you take those out to look at them, or they fell out, or?
They actually pulled right off of a DX7 head.
So you don't replace those things?
No, if that happens like that, typically I'll just throw it away and get a new damper. I mean, you can push it in there.
Yeah,
But-
I've seen that where they stick in the on the bottom of the
Correct.
head.
The other thing would be is make sure you're aware that that happened before you put the new one in. Because trying to put a new one over top that already has that ain't gonna work very well.
No.
All right, so after Frankie, who's next?
For what?
Pulling that head out and putting it back in.
Oh, it's easy.
Everybody's got to do it at least once. I would like it if you guys did it twice. That would be great. 3 times if you want to be awesome. If you want a gold star.
Aren't we gonna do it on that one?
You're going to do it on that one too.
Bam, bam.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'll remove it again. So,
Yeah.
oh, I